And I remember one person in particular said to me, like, you're too blonde, you need to change the part of your hair, stop wearing denim shorts, you're too tanned. And I was like, but this is who I am. On today's episode, we have the incredible Elle Ferguson. This woman is leading the way when it comes to beauty and business, and I feel so grateful she was on the podcast. We got really deep. We both ended up in tears at the end of the episode. So yeah, it's jam-packed with so much good knowledge. I hope you guys love it. Welcome back to another episode of Self-Dom Beautiful Humans, a safe place to learn and get inspired to live your healthiest and most fulfilling life. I am Dom, your host, and I feel so grateful to be living my passion by getting to interview inspiring and knowledgeable guests. Today's episode is one I am so excited for. I have Elle Ferguson on the mic. I've looked up to this woman for so many years. You are just a trendsetter. You are an inspiring role model to so many women. And yeah, it's just an honor to have you on the mic. So thank you so much. Elle has a beauty brand called ELEFFECT, and she also posts on her social media accounts. I'm sure you do follow her, but if you don't, her account is at Elle Ferguson. There is so much to learn from this incredible woman, and I can't wait to chat to you on today's episode. Yay, I like that. I got emotional a little bit in that, but I got a little bit teary, but thank you. Thank you for that amazing introduction.
I mean, it feels fitting. We're both Bondi locals. We're sitting here in Bondi with the view of the beach, and we're just going to have a nice little chat.
Yes, we actually got to spend last night together.
I know.
I think we had the introduction to the podcast last night, and now this is like the good bit.
This is the grit. You know what? I was actually cautious not to ask you anything I was going to ask you on the podcast because I was like, I wanted to save it. But you were just giving me great advice because you've had a podcast, and I just feel like you know this industry so well.
I try.
But you're good. You don't gatekeep.
No, I share. That is true. That's true. Yes.
A lot of people in the industry, we were talking about that last night, where there's this tall poppy syndrome and there's not enough success for everyone. But the way you were speaking and helping me, I was like, okay, this girl's the real deal.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
So I wanted to kind of jump into it. You are an icon with fashion and beauty. Where did your love for this all begin?
Thank you. I think it started with my mum. Like, my mum had a label growing up, and I always remember being back at primary school and my teachers saying to my mum in like the parent-teacher night, she needs to read more books and less Vogue because all my projects were made with like tears out of magazines and stuff. So I think my passion for fashion came from my mum and just being surrounded by clothes and magazines and films and art. Like, we would go to the art gallery, once a month. My mum would put us on the train and we'd go there with my sister. So we were it was in our world. So I think it started young, and I think it was kind of the path forward was to have a bit to be in fashion. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And often it does start with those first role models in your life.
Yeah.
Was your family really encouraging of your journey into this kind of social media, fashion, beauty world?
I think for me, it's interesting because I started modelling really young. So
how old were you?
I was in primary school.
Because you're such a tall string bean.
It was kind of meant to happen.
Yeah.
I say that with respect. It was like, you fit the mold. Do you know what I mean? And I think I did like Huggies ads when I was a baby. So I started young, and then I modelled through primary school. I did a lot of TV commercials, saved my money, went into high school, was still modelling, was with Vivian's. And then I remember my mum kind of saying to me, you're going to get a degree. You need to have something. If your looks go, you need to have an education. And I remember that being a really interesting conversation because I was like, no, it's so fun shooting and modeling like that. And the other route sounded so much harder to have to study. I found it really hard to concentrate and sit in one place for a long time to read a book when my sister was the complete opposite and was pretty much reading encyclopedias from like primary school, like so smart and like the most amazing writer. So we were very polar opposite in that way. But my mum was very, she was a teacher, so it was very big on education. So I think when I finished high school, I had to study. So they were always supportive. I could have said to my mum, I want to be an astronaut, and she would have been like, go for it. But education was really huge in our family. So the social media thing came later in life, but it was always I had to have something I could fall back on, and that was an education.
Yeah, and I love that. My family were the same. I've had my business degree, and
Yeah.
I did the graduation for my family. I honestly feel like I finished it for them to watch me throw the hat up in
but
the
it's
sky.
great.
Yeah, and I am grateful, and I know that I've learnt a lot, even though I'm not using it. I think I'm subconsciously using
You're
it.
always
Do you know what
using
I
it.
mean?
Yeah.
So,
and I think it's also important that you don't judge a book by its cover. Like, I think it's quite amazing that somebody could look at you and then you're like, well, I also do have a university degree. Do you know what I mean? And I think there's power in that. And I think as a woman, you need that power. And I think, you know, there's a lot of other girls I grew up with that went the other route and modeled and went through, and now they kind of don't know what to do, where I'm like, I've got skills, I've got a skill set, I've got an education, so I'm going for it.
yeah. And of course, you say we were both saying we use it subconsciously, but you obviously have a career in social media that has been you've standed the test of time, honestly, because you were probably one of the first people I followed.
It's like an OG. You
And
kind
you
of
are
think
an OG.
about it. And it's
like
weird.
the 1 teaspoon shorts, like that shit sticks.
Yes.
And I wanted to touch on, how did you get into it? How did you build a following, and how have you kept that longevity?
So I think I was an early adapter, and I think that's something to really hone in on, because even now I think a lot of people can be scared of change. And I remember I had a blog and it was amazingly successful. It was huge, launched a business with it. I mean, we were in like the top 50 blogs of the world at one stage, and we were competing with Vogue. Like, it was huge. And then I remember the question being asked of like, who's behind the blog? And it was my sister who had Instagram, and she had an Apple phone. I had a BlackBerry because I was very worky, and the BlackBerry meant I was a working girl.
I loved the BlackBerry little ball thing.
Yeah,
to
the
move
pearl thing,
yeah, I was into it.
But you couldn't get Instagram on a BlackBerry. So I had to trade the BlackBerry.
We're going way back.
We are though, but it's like, it's the truth, you know, and the early adoption meant that I needed to get the iPhone so that I could get Instagram. And my sister literally said to me, people want to know what you're wearing. I think you just need to, you wear these epic outfits every day. Like, you need to take a photo every day. So I think part of my success has been consistency. You know what I mean? Like, when I first started, I posted every day. And it was the same rule I had with the blog. We posted every day. And I think even now, I still have consistency. I might take a day off for 2 days, but people know that I'm going to consistently deliver you like an outfit, you know, inspiration. And I think people get used to that. So I do think consistency is a big key to my success.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with everything, with all goals, consistency is what get you there.
True.
It's not just having
skincare,
yes, all that stuff. And I think a lot of people think you have one big goal and then you reach it, and then you don't know what you're going to do with it. But for you, it's like 1% better every day. It's delivering every day, and it's really shown you've. I feel like you're having a big resurgence at the moment, to be honest. I was talking about it with a bunch of people in the fashion industry. I was just like,
that's so nice.
No, I'm like, your stuff's on mood boards when I'm at shoots. And
oh, really? So you never hear this?
Yeah,
You're like in your own little silent world, like going along, and that means so much.
No, your Paris content.
Oh, it was good.
It was really good.
I felt like it actually brought me back to life, that trip. So that's nice to hear.
And it's like investing in your time, going overseas, mixing it up, and not doing the same thing all the time. I think it keeps your audience engaged.
Yeah, and I think like I said, I love clothes, and to be in Paris where it happens, I think you could see that in my eyes and my smile, and just like you felt alive. Yeah, I do think that was it.
I have a best friend, Maral. She's one of the designers for Beckenbridge.
Yeah.
And we were talking about fashion, and the way she sees fashion is similar to how you speak about it, where it's like the history of fashion, and it's so much more than just like trying to stand out or follow a trend. And that's what I love about your looks. It's authentic to you. Yeah. And I think Paris is where you can do it and let it shine. Sometimes here, I mean, we're in Bondi. We're quite muted, you know?
We're a little bit, you know, you can't really cross the road in your over-the-knee pink Bottega boots.
No.
I mean, you could give it a shot, give it a go, but it probably doesn't have the same like emphasis as it does in Paris. But thank you. I do feel like that just, yeah, it was a great way to start the year.
Yeah.
That was Feb, yeah.
Well, apart from consistency, that's a great tip. What's another 2 tips you would give to someone trying to make it in the social media space?
So I think, like, without sounding like a cliche, I think authenticity is a big thing. And I think you could use me as an example. I remember when I started, everybody had an opinion. They still have an opinion now. And do you know what I mean? Like, I live in denim shorts and, like, this is how I wear my hair. Like, oh no, but it's not really trending. And I remember politely just saying, like, good luck to you. See you later. And I mean, I don't even know where that person is
No.
now, but I'm still standing. So I think authenticity is a really important thing because people see through it when it's not true. And I think that comes to a lot of the brands that I work with. I have authentic relationships with them. And I think that's why my community sees that. They know it. Like, a lot of the brands that I work with, you'll see that I've either loved them from 5 years ago and now I get to work with them, or I've bought their clothes and I've worn their clothes and now we're working together. So I think you need to be authentic to you. Like, I don't really take photos of food. Like, I really just don't. I love food, but it doesn't really do it for me. If it's like, I'm not going to take a photo and post it. Like, I might every now and again, but I'm not a foodie,
No.
So I wouldn't go down that line of taking photos of food. So I think authenticity is a big thing. I also always say achieve success quietly. I think we're very, like, at the moment, screaming and yelling and saying, pay attention to me, look at me, hello, this is what I'm doing, rah, rah, rah. Where it's like, maybe be quiet about it, give it a shot, see how it works out. And then, if it's amazing, then maybe talk about it. I just think there's a lot of learnings you can do privately. And I don't think you need to tell everybody everything all the time.
Yeah, I think when you said authenticity, it came to mind that you have looked the same for a long time. Like, I don't know, whatever skincare you're using.
Or a bad thing.
No, it's good. Like, you look incredible.
Thanks.
And I know in my industry, especially in the modeling space, sometimes you're like, oh, I need to change it up. I've had the
Shave
same
my
look
head,
for so
cut
long.
my hair.
Yeah, I've had the same look for so long. But it's going inwards and being like, is this coming because I want to do it, or because I think I need for me to be accepted by society, or for me to be popular in social media, I need to do some drastic change.
Yeah.
And I love, because you've stayed consistent, you've stayed true to yourself, and it's been amazing for your career. So I think.
But you've got to ride the wave. Like, I remember when I first started, like, kind of when I was modeling a lot, Gemma Ward had come onto the scene and the quintessential Aussie girl had kind of gone. Like, and then Gemma Ward came in and just looked so different, and it was a different idea of beauty. And I remember my agent kind of being like, your face is too symmetry, the teeth, your two blue eyes and big teeth and that blonde hair. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, a month ago, that was what everybody wanted. Now they don't want that, but that's me. You know what I mean? And I think the older I've gotten, I'm like, that's me,
Yeah.
I'm proud of that.
Own it.
Yeah. But I mean, it goes in waves, because you're like, oh my gosh, now this is popular, but I'm not that. Should I change it? But I think if you're happy with who you are, you're good. You're fine.
Absolutely. So you've had, obviously, as I've said, a really successful career in social media. And what I'm most inspired by is that you create a business.
Yes.
So many people just commit to the social media, but I think you kind of get sick of selling everyone else's product and you're like, I'm going to sell my own. So I wanted to hear about your journey with ELEFFECT. Did you create it in 2018?
Yes. Well, I mean, it probably started in 2017 and you just didn't hear about
Yeah.
it. But exactly for what you just said then, I was lucky enough to be in LA, and I was with Jen Akin and Steph Shep on set shooting The Way, which is Jen Akin's hair care brand, at Venice Beach. And it was like this surreal day. Like, it was amazing. We had like 4 honey wagons. It was like, I personally thought I was killing it. I was like, this is the way I need to roll.
It sounds amazing.
For the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like, this is a vibe.
No honey wagon, I ain't there.
No, I was like, there was like 100 hairstylists. There was like a room of just clothes. Like, it was amazing. And I remember all of us girls kind of coming together at one point and talking about the shift of the influencer becoming the brand owner, and how we've built these brands ourselves, but we need to make something tangible. And I remember Camille, my manager, and Joel, my partner, being there that day. And I remember coming out of one of the wagons and saying, I need to make a product. And I think that was 2017, the beginning of 2017. I was like, I need to make something that's tangible, that will outlast bust if social media doesn't. You need something that you can buy physical. And I was lucky enough to kind of do some research and market research. And that's what I love about social media. I just asked questions. You know what I mean? I was like, what do you like about me? And it was like denim shorts, blonde hair, tan, Bondi. And there were 3 things that kept coming up, which was denim shorts, blonde hair, and tan.
I mean, I would have said that too.
Well, I mean, you know, like it's a great way, like, you know, a lot of businesses pay a lot of money to do market research, but we can do it all ourselves.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's like, that's what I love about it.
I'm going to do a question box after this.
But you should though, because like they're the people you're selling to. So they're going to tell you what you want, what they want, sorry. And so I was like, denim shorts is too hard because I knew too much about fashion. But I was like, oh, tanning. Like I've been a tanner since, you know, I don't know, the age of 15, and I knew nothing about making a beauty product. And there was something about not knowing anything about anything that made me think I could do it. So I was like, I'm going to do it. And I was really lucky that I was in LA at the time. I was chatting to people. And like we were saying before, Americans, I find, are very open with information. I met a lady that told me about a factory. I went and met with the factory. I met with a chemist. I spoke to them. I actually wanted to formulate here in Australia because it was really important for me to be Australian made and Australian owned, and nobody would take me seriously. I rang endless chemists and endless factories and labs, and I said, I have the money to do a sample, take my money. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's it to you? I'll pay you. And they were like, what company do you work for? And I was like, Elle Ferguson, P2A, L2D. And they were like, no. And so I was like, I'll never forget it. Like I had Joel calling, I had myself calling, I had Camille calling because I was like, maybe it'll sound different coming from a man. Hate to say it, but sometimes it's the truth. Nobody here would take me seriously. Wow. So I still to this day make my tan out of LA because the chemist and the factory took me seriously and would formulate with me. So yeah.
Wow. Well, you're obviously talking about some highs and lows there with business. I think as someone kind of about to enter that sphere.
Welcome.
I know. I just want
buckle up, sister.
I know. I wanted to talk to you about what is just some things I can expect so that it doesn't knock me down when it happens. Like, what are the highs and lows of business?
I think you can't compare yourself to somebody else
So
because, you know, like an example for me is Summer Fridays launched within a week of me launching ELEFFECT. And if I look at their business trajectory, it's phenomenal. It's amazing. Their SKU count is huge. It's amazing.
But you've got multiple businesses happening.
I know, but like I don't have your voice inside of my head when I sit there at night and I look at theirs and I'm like, oh my God.
Just give me a call, babe. I'll give you some positive.
You'll give me up. Get me up. But it's the truth though, because I will go, you launched at the same time as me, you know, like, here's the difference. So I think don't compare yourself would be number one. And then you got to have grit. You got to go for it. And then I do think you need to make a product that you genuinely love, because I think if you make something that you don't love, people see it, you know, and it needs to work.
Yeah, I think that's really resonating with me because for so long everyone's like, you need to do a swimwear brand.
Yeah.
You need to do an activewear brand because they're like,
people always tell you stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know the amount of people that tell me things that I should be doing? I'm like, now I just say thank you very much.
Yeah. And flattering in one sense to think, you know, that you think I could do that and that's incredible, but it's not where my passion lies. And it's taken me, you know, 29 years now to be like, this is my passion. And now I'm coming out with little products and things that, they're not going to make me millions, but they make me excited and I know they're going to help people. And it's just that one foot in front of the other and then it will lead to where it's meant to lead. Yeah. Not just starting a swimwear brand because I shoot for other swimwear brands, so I should be selling my own. That's not a good enough reason for me.
No, and it's just also there's so much out there. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's your point of difference? Like, when I started ELEFFECT, my number one thing was that I wanted it to smell different to tan. So I went to market with this point of difference in a product that it smelled like roses. And I remember sitting in a room with all of these suits around a table and I took the labels off all these bottles of tans and I got them to smell every one of them. One of them was ELEFFECT and all of the others were competing brands. And they were like, this stinks, this smells toxic. Then they got to ELEFFECT and they were like, oh, this smells really refreshing. Like, and I was like, there it is. Like, that's my point of difference. This is how I'm going to make this different. Yeah. It's like, what would your difference be if you did swim? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know. I'm going back to business school and they're like, what's your USP and all these. And that's when the business degree actually comes in handy. Because I know so on Sen, I understand touch points and things when it comes to marketing. So I am actually really grateful for it. And I think there's always benefit in doing a degree. Yes. You've obviously smashed it and I want to touch on goal setting.
Yes.
Is this something you focus on? Do you write down your goals? Like,
I feel like they're on an endless list in my mind. I've got a lot of Post-its in the house.
I love that.
I've got a lot of
Are they on the
Post-it.
fridge and stuff?
They're like in numerous places. Like sometimes they're stuck inside Joel's cupboard, like just things. No, I like a to-do list, but I am very goal driven, and I think I've been like that since a kid. I think I like to achieve goals. I think I like success. I think I write a lot of lists and I like to tick a lot of things off. It's just the way I work.
I think as well, it gives you a level of a plan, and I think a plan is essential to get where you want to be.
Something.
Yeah, how good's ticking it off?
That's what I mean. Like there's something in
What's
that.
your star sign?
Cancer.
Oh, that's surprising, isn't it?
Really?
Well, I mean, cancers are usually quite emotional.
I was going to say I'm highly emotional. I fit that.
Oh, you fit that, but you're like really goal driven.
Yeah, I don't even know what.
Hustling.
Yeah, I like a goal. I like to hit it, and if I don't, it's like a real like I got to manage it and work around it to get to it.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to touch on working with Joel.
Yes.
He's your husband.
Fiance. We're still not married.
When did you guys?
I'm so sorry,
How
Joel.
long have you been fiancé?
We've been engaged. Oh gosh, he's going to kill me for this. We've been engaged. I think we've been engaged for 6 years because we always joke about the 5-year engagement movie, and we thought we'd never be those people. And now we've surpassed that. But then I think of Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell are still not married, and they're madly in love and they look great. So I'm like, maybe
that's the
go that
secret.
way. I love being engaged.
Do you know what as well? I'm not sure if it's true, but someone like you, I feel like, your wedding there's a lot of pressure around it. Yeah. There's just a lot around it. And it can take away from the point of the wedding and the love.
There's a lot around it. So I'm just kind of navigating this way. I love Joel to death. So like neither of us are going anywhere, but yeah, we're happily engaged.
Well, you guys are a beautiful couple.
Thank you.
So I wanted to chat about working with your fiance.
Yes.
I'm like, I wrote husband in the notes.
It's
like,
I was like,
yeah, working with him. How do you guys go about that? Do you set boundaries?
So I don't know if you know, Joel played professional football for 15 years, won 2 Best and Fairest for Brisbane Lions, was the best of the best, played for Australia. Like that man is like a superstar. He is an athlete like I've never seen. And you think I'm goal driven, like that dude is like focused. So I think having the partner that you're going through business and life with being that person, it makes that like he knows what it takes to be successful. He also knows the focus it takes, the boundaries, the grit, and also the communication. Do you know what I mean? And the sacrifice. That's a big word in our relationship because we probably haven't had a holiday since we met. Everything kind of comes around to work.
I guess that's the hard thing in the industry. It's like you're going to travel, you're going to take photos, but also you're going to claim it as a tax write-off.
This is true. But then you're also like the opportunities, you know what I mean? Like I'm an opportunist. So whenever we travel, I love to like reach out and see what's going, so I think sacrifice
But you love what you do as well.
What I do. And the opportunity. Amazing.
Yeah.
But Joel and I, yes, there are boundaries. There's respect. I think respect is a huge thing. And like I said, like he gets it because he knows what he did when he was like being an athlete. And I guess like I'm playing the game, you know what I mean? And we always say never surrender and we go for it. But, not everything is amazing. Poor Joel in Paris was, in the bed and there was a hair and makeup artist in the corner of the room at like 4 a.m. and he was trying to sleep or he was out trying to scout locations.
Oh,
but
bless him.
He's a great man.
Oh,
Got me a hot water bottle.
A Joel.
He's a good man.
Yes.
But I think respect, communication and boundaries, yeah,
super important.
Yeah.
We were recently on the same flight. I think that was, we just keep bumping into each
do.
other this year more than ever, right?
We do. We were right at the back of the plane for everybody listening. It's not as glamorous as it sounds.
Yeah. It was like 29A.
We were at the back of
near the
plane.
toilet.
Yeah, we were. Actually.
And we were just chatting. We were on our way that was open, and to drink. A lot of people drink at these things, and I was talking to you about it, and you mentioned that you don't drink.
Yes.
How long have you been sober, and what was your reasoning for it?
So I think I'm hitting 3 years or just over 3 years. And it's funny because when I read that you'd written I'm sober, I never say I'm sober. I just say I don't drink.
Yeah.
But then like when you said I'm sober, I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds so like heavy. Like I'm so, no, but it's just funny.
I know what you mean, but the connotations for a word, it's actually a really positive word.
No, totally. But it's just funny how different words have different impact on you, So probably just over 3 years. And I literally just stopped one day. I just was like, I just don't think I'm going to drink this week. And then like a week turned into a month, like that kind of thing. I'd started running and the drinking, I never like I didn't really have a positive. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'd go out and have a great night and have a few margaritas and, like, I don't know, dance and be crazy, but I'd do that sober. So I just was like, I'd rather go and eat a whole lot of food than drink the calories and then have to run them off. I think it's a vanity thing as well. Jen Atkins said to me when she went sober, her skin had never looked better. And I would have to agree, like, my skin's never been as good as it is since I quit drinking. And I just think, yeah, like, I just don't need to do it. I get asked the question a lot in my DMs because people, I think it's a lot of peer pressure to drink. A lot of people say, how do you navigate yourself through social gatherings? Like, if everybody's having a drink, I don't have an issue with it. You know what I mean? Like, we were together last night. I had a Diet Coke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I didn't feel like I was the odd one out because I was having a Diet Coke. So I think you need to surround yourself with people that support your choices.
That's a massive part of it. None of us even quit. I mean, I was drinking. They accidentally gave me the alcoholic one, and I sipped. I was like,
I feel like you spat it back.
Yeah, I was just not expecting it because I'd asked for them.
No.
I thought I'd asked for a mocktail.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you're around people, they don't even question it.
No.
And I feel like I'm at this age now where there's quite a big divide in my friend group where some people are going out and partying a lot whilst others are like a bit more recluse at home. So it's just having that trust in your decision.
But it's also like your business. Like, I run my businesses, so I need to go home and sit on my laptop. So it's like the friends that you're talking about, maybe they don't run their own business. Like, you're running, you're starting your empire.
Yeah.
That's like what you're doing. So
love you.
Yeah, but like you're coming home and like you want to come home and be able to like edit your podcast, sit on your lap, look, like that excites me more than going out and going up the road to Toddy's and like drinking. I'd rather eat the
100%.
pasta, come home and do my work.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I've been probably in my mindset for a really long time. Maybe that's where you are now.
Yeah, that's where I'm at for sure. Does Joel drink?
Yes, and he loves a drink, and I fully support him with the drink. I bought him tequila. I bought him a really nice bottle of Casamigos, the Blanca, the dark one the other week, and he loves it. He probably drinks this. He's going to kill me for this. He
Joel's just like, don't post the
He
bottle.
probably drinks like every second night of the week, but just like he'll have a tequila and that'll be it. But like, there's no shame. Do you know what I mean? Like, and there's no shame. I love him for not shaming me for not drinking. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, massively.
Like, I think also because I'm not a shy person, I can be in a social setting and I can talk underwater. So, do you know what I mean? I don't need a drink to kind of give myself the confidence.
Absolutely. I think that's really inspiring for a lot of women because, and men, of course, but in my DMs as well, so many people bring up the drinking stuff.
Yeah.
I did a walk club on Monday and the 10 girls that came, they all said they want to meet a guy, but they don't want to go out partying and drinking.
Yeah.
And that is such a hard place to be because
I feel like we need to make a happy space for a whole lot of women to come to that can meet great men, and drinking doesn't need to be happen. We could be sponsored by a non-alcoholic beverage.
100%.
Because I think there's a lot of men. Yeah, but I think there's a lot of men out there that also don't want to drink. Like, there's a lot more men looking after themselves.
100%.
But then I do think there's the thing like, let's go for a drink sounds a lot easier than like, let's go to dinner, and it gets
Well, it's a bigger
serious.
commitment, you know?
Yeah.
And there is the liquid courage.
Yes.
But Tom said this to me and it hit home where when you go to a bar, when you enter, it's kind of a bit awkward,
Always.
you know? But then people start drinking and everyone gets relaxed. But it's not actually the alcohol that relaxed you. It's the time. So you get more comfortable. So last night, as an example, we got to the event. It's a bit awkward. By the end, we're having D&Ms.
Yeah.
We didn't have alcohol.
No.
It's just we got more familiar and we were speaking. But we've always attached that comfort and confidence with alcohol. But truly, it comes from just being more in someone's space.
Yeah.
So I think, maybe we can plant the idea of doing this event because I honestly feel like really help the girls out. It's really hard to meet people.
I think that's what I hear. I do hear that some of the girls were saying it last night. I do think it's a weird space right now. I also think everybody is on their phones solo, and that's how they're meeting people. And I don't think necessarily people know how to like actually interact, you know, like I think it's a really strange time right now with all of that and transitioning. And because it's like you said, like you go to the bar now where you've like met somebody online and then you're going to meet them. You're not in the bar to meet them. You know, like it's a weird.
Yeah. And I think as well with that, a lot of my friends say they'll speak to a guy for months and they won't ask them out.
Like, that's
what
just
are you
bizarre.
gaining? Like, why would you? I mean, me and you are business people, so why would I spend time messaging like, I don't have time.
No, Joel was like, I literally think we had spoken for like a week and he was like, dude, we're going to dinner on Saturday night. And I was like, no, I'm busy. He's like, I'm picking you up. We're going. And I was like, okay, cool. And then it was like, it was on.
How did you guys meet?
We met through friends, but then we realized we lived on the same street. So it got really comfortable really easily because we would kind of be like, do you want to walk down the street and get hurricanes? It was easy.
Oh my God, hurricane.
Back when it was good.
No, it is, me and Tom are obsessed with it. They weirdly do the best oysters.
Okay.
It's weird because it's a steak place.
Mine was a jack of potato. I loved
with the mushrooms.
Yeah, see. But yes, we lived on the same street and it was bizarre.
You bibbed up with Joel.
We did. It was, no, but it was like, it was easy. I think when it's the right person, it's easy.
100%. It's the common theme with everyone. It's like, another thing is if they wanted to, they would.
Yeah,
like
true.
Joel probably just reached out because he wanted to see you.
But that was when he proposed. He was like, I knew. No, he was like, when you know, you know.
How long?
I think we were just over a year.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was like, he was like, when you know, you know. And I was like, oh my God, I really like you. I love you. Like, this is when you know, you know.
You're so cute. You're blushing.
I know, it's nice though. But that's how life should be, you know?
Yeah.
You should fall in love and it should be great.
Yeah. And I don't think settle for less if you're someone struggling.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you do not settle for less. You mentioned you're running.
Yes.
I love watching that. It's very inspiring. What got you into running and how do you keep yourself motivated?
This sounds like a Joel Patfull podcast, but it was Joel. I know
Joel!
you. No, it was because I know you love Pilates and I was a really big Pilates fan and I'm not dissing Pilates, but I was doing Pilates like 6 times a week and my body just wasn't changing. I'm really tall. I don't activate the right muscles at the right time. Like things take over when other things should be because I'm so long.
Yeah.
So I was doing all this Pilates and Joel has always run. He is a runner. He runs 6 days a week, does a Bonnet de Bronte in like 20 minutes. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
But he said to me like, Pilates for you is like glorified stretching. And I was like, you're wrong. Like I had a whole tanty about it because I was like, no, it's like, that's what I need to do. All the cool people do Pilates.
Yeah. And you see on socials as well, like
everybody,
people looking toned
yes.
and this and you're like, oh,
Pilates. No, but like it's the truth. I think I was like brainwashed, but I wasn't seeing the results. I had done my first Cosmo cover and I had like killed myself to get to where I was. And I never actually really got into a good place. I think I ended up losing like 4 kilos and it was like pretty much water weight, really.
And you were killing yourself to do it,
it wasn't a good thing. My birthday was during the prep for it and I literally had a mandarin with a candle in it. Like it was miserable. Anyway, so Joel said to me, no, it's the truth. Like this is the truth. And it's so sad what you do to yourself to kind of hit these goals. Joel said to me, look at runners' bodies. And I was like, okay. And he was like, look how lean and fit they are. And I was like, yes. And it like the light bulb went off and he was like, you need to run. And I was like, my whole life I've been told I can't run.
Because you're tall, right? Yeah, I've heard
bad on
that
my
before.
knees. Then other people were like, it's bad on your face because everything sags.
I've heard all of these things before.
Isn't it bizarre?
That's why I started the walk club.
Well, I was
the girls.
but I was like, I can't, like, I was like, I can't run. Like, my thing was, if I ever got robbed, I was going to lay on the ground and act dead. Like, I was not running. Like, I was not a runner.
Yeah.
And then he'd said the thing to me about runners' bodies. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try it. And then I tried a couple of times outside. It was during COVID, during the pandemic. And I just... you know, everybody looks at you. I kind of was like, I want an ugly run. Like I want to run and I want to sweat and I don't want to have to wear some cute little outfit. I want to be daggy.
It's ugly running.
I want an ugly run. Yes. Anyway, so I hired a treadmill in, I think it was the 3rd week of the pandemic when we went into lockdown.
Those businesses killed it.
Yeah. And I got in early again, early adapter, got in early. No, I did because then like you couldn't get equipment anywhere. Got the treadmill delivered to my house, put it on the balcony. And I thought I'd be able to get on and just run. I was like, this would be great. I got on. I reckon I could run for 5 seconds. And I said to myself, shit, this is going to be a lot harder than I thought. But my rule was I had to be on it for an hour. So I was going to crawl, walk, run, hop, skip. I had to stay on it for an hour. So I started at speed 6.5 and I walked for the hour. And then I gradually introduced like 10 seconds of running every kilometer. And I just built it up.
Wow.
Like I built it up. I had to do it 6 days a week for an hour every day, no matter what. And I just kept at it. And now I can do my 10Ks in an hour. I do it 6 days a week.
That's so inspiring. That's an amazing achievement.
It is. And like, I'm really proud of it because I'm not an athlete. I'm not a runner, but I am a runner now. Do you know what I mean? Like I can proudly say I'm a runner and I really like it. And I have spent so much time on that treadmill and in my own head because it's such a mental game because your mind gives up before your body. Like your mind is like, oh, get off. You did it yesterday, or get off. It's really hard, or oh, you've got cramps. Get off. You know, like it's like that, but you've actually got to overcome that voice in your head and go, no, I'm going to do it. And it's going to feel really, really good when I finish it. So the running now is like, I think it's my therapy. Like in all honesty, like I think it adds so much more than the physical gain of I think now having that runner's body, it's the mental and it's the hour I get to myself, you know, it's the hour I get to like be on there and nobody bothers me and my focus is purely on those numbers that take forever to tick over on the front of the treadmill.
I think as well, sometimes you start an exercise regime to look a certain way and people can judge or say whatever they want. But as long as you got that turnaround moment where you're like the mindset, the strength and just the endorphins, you're seeing the mindset shift. That's what really matters. We've had like a few people on the pod where they started meditating because they saw billionaires were meditating. But then they did it. So maybe the reasoning for doing it maybe wasn't this enlightenment that people expect, but then they've come to that enlightenment.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter the order you get there. I think as long as you get there, and I love seeing your stories about it because I went and bought Oakley's because I was like, I'm going to be a runner. I've seen all the run clubs.
Yeah.
Have I done it once? No. But
Ah.
maybe I will. I mean.
Yeah, but maybe you will. Do you know what I mean? I think the other thing is that you just got to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like that first run I did getting on that treadmill, I had the wrong shoes. I had the wrong, I just got on it. Like, you know what I mean? But like, I just did it. I started it. And I think that's a lot of people that reach out to me in DMs. I'm like, there's no magic potion. There's no like recipe to do it. Like maybe do a stretch before and get on and go. Yeah. Like just do it. And you can do it. Like you can run anywhere.
Yeah. It's free.
It's free.
It's
That's
amazing.
a big thing.
So do you have a recovery regime as well? Because you're running a lot.
Joel would like me to say yes, but I'm saying no. I literally.
Where's Joel?
I know.
Get a third mic for Joel.
I know. I get off. I don't. I should probably have, I need to do more stretching.
Or like rolling?
I need to roll more. I just don't. I think
You're lucky you don't, like you can keep going.
Yeah, I think that's like the sheer determination. I think my next step is to invest in myself enough to recover. I think I've gotten, like I see the results in the running because I feel good and I look good. I've now got to go, okay, but you'll also benefit from rolling, stretching, get a massage, do a sauna.
Oh, it will be incredible. Your running will improve.
That's it. But it's like that next thing of kind of allowing yourself to have that next bit where I get off and I'm like, I've got to shower and I've got to go do this, or I've got to get on my lap, I've got to get on a Zoom, I've got to do this. I think it's the next bit of allowing myself to get that little bit more back.
And you have the awareness, so that's the most important
part. I've got
part.
the awareness. I just need to acknowledge the awareness and activate the awareness.
Yeah. Well, my biggest thing is you're going to go on a holiday and just have a holiday soon.
That just is so foreign. It's so funny. Like Joel and I are so bad at could not even lay by a pool. Well,
you found your pediapod.
Yeah, true.
Because I feel like Tom would kill me if I
he Joel began the relationship like that, and then I've slowly been like, this is the way it is, chap.
Yeah. Well, you love what you do, so it all makes sense. So for a final question, I always ask the same. It is, what advice would you give to your younger self?
This is a good one, and I'm going to try not to get upset when I say this, but I would like to tell my younger self, you'll survive. You're going to survive the death of your grandmother, your grandfather, your mother, and your dad, and you will survive. It's going to be really hard, but you're going to make it through. You're going to find somebody that loves you. No, but it's the truth because I think you go through it. And there were so many times that I was like, where do you go from here? And how do you wake up every morning without your mom? But you'll survive and you'll be okay.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Don't do this to me.
No. We were so happy with the running.
I know. What? Okay, on that note, Elle.
Yes.
You're making me cry, you're making me smile, you bring me all the emotions. Thank you so much for jumping on the mic today.
Thank you, yay.
You are inspiring. I love what you share, and continue doing you, being authentic and unapologetically yourself. It's amazing. If you love the episode, make sure you tag us, share it. It really means the world. And I'll see you on the next episode.
Yeah.
Bye.